Good morning, and how are you?
Well,
My name is Kwejo. I'm going to be your side guide this morning. You are warmly welcome home. You are warmly welcome to your motherland. The reason why is this is where you came from. The state you just went there to work. This is your home or your destination. The name of this community is called Assin Manso. But where we are standing right now here, we call here Assin Manso Slave Market. During that era, there was nothing like these structures over here. It was a typical virgin forest with wild animals, but all the same, they sold our forefathers here, put them with chains and shackles, walking barefooted, both naked, kept them in the door of no return for 3 good months before they off them from there up to wherever they came from. Before I will start, let me tell you the meaning of slavery in the olden days. In the olden days, in case you are living at the coastal area, you have to work on the ocean or a sea. Living at the hinterland, you can be a hunter or a sailor. And this is how the slave trade it was during that era. In case I am here, let me take myself that I am a hunter and you are the food seller. In case I short a food for my family, I can come to you. My brother, I need a tuber of yam. Give it to me. Maybe 2 weeks time or 1 week time. I'll return it back to you. The 2 weeks time, I supposed to return the tuber of yam I got from you. If I refuse, I have to take one of my son or one of my daughter to come and serve you to pay my debts. That is how the slave trade it was during that era. That time, a man or a woman can give a birth about 15 to 20 children. Why? Because the strength was there. We had a lot of gold on our land. So we normally use the gold to play a game like Ludo or Dame. That was from the first half of 15th century. People from New World decide to visit Guinea Coast. So in the year 1471, those people peacefully arrived in Ghana here at a particular place called the Elmina. As I'm talking to you today, we call the Elmina. They seek a land nearby the ocean or the sea. So in the year 1481, they built a house and named that house Fort. As I'm talking to you today, we call the castle. They came here with some little items like gunpowder, tobacco, clothes, bills, mirror, sardine, sugar. When they came here, because of the gold they met or they saw or they found from our land, they based on that gold to name here the Gold Coast. So there was an agreement between our kings and queen mothers that the item they came with, in case we want something from them, we're supposed to take a basket, fill it with a gold, give it to them so that we can receive any item we want from them. We call that market barter trade, meaning exchange of goods. Then as time goes on, it changed to become slave trading. So from that point, in case you wanted something from them again, you're supposed to give them one of your son or one of your daughter. That's where the slave trade started from. So they started building some houses named dungeon or the fort. According to the historian, Africa had a lot of slave market and dungeon, but the effective ones are only 2. The largest market for the slaves in Africa, located at the northern part of Ghana, we call the Salaga slave market. And here served them as the second one. So they started captured people from Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Benin, Togo, Cameroon, and so on. So those people, they matched them to the northern part of Ghana. I'm talking about Salaga slave market. So they sold all of them from there. In case of them wanted to come back here, they captured people again from different sources, community and villages, put them with chains and shackles. So all the way from northern part of Ghana up to this point, our forefathers or the captive, walking barefooted, both naked with chains and shackles for 7 good months. Not all of them survived. Some of them were attacked by wild animals like lion or the leopard. Some of them by pythons or the snakes. Excuse me to say, the ladies of them got their menstruations on themselves. In case you want to go to private urinal, everything you're supposed to do as a human being, you have to do everything on yourself for 7 good months. Some of them got bushy hair, skin rashes, some ones, and so on. So we have a river there. Down there, here served them as the last market. So all the months they spent on their way up to that point, here serve them as their last market. So let us make them neat so that they will attract more price. Over there, they save them, wash them, dry them up for the mercy of the sun to get dry before they brought them here. We have a point over there called meditation lawn. Over there, they gave them water with sugar to drink for instant energy. After that, they started or they did an auction before they matched them from here. So anytime you visit this land, we have a place there called Ancestral Graveyard. We have 3 graves over there. One is called Madame Cresta. Madame Cresta was a slave, taking her from here, walking barefooted, both naked with chains and shackles, kept her in the door of no return for 3 good months, and from the door of no return, that lady off from there up to Jamaica. When she survived in Jamaica, she met some people she already knew them, but because of the way they treated them, the brutality punishment, how they fed them, that lady got some sympathy for the other slaves. So she decided to do something. Maybe the masters obtained mercy for them to come back to their motherland. During that era, they entered the door called the door of no return. So there was no way for anyone to come back to their motherland. Because of that, she got for hunger strike 1 month, and she did enroll that in case I died and you these people emancipated from the slavery, make sure you go back with my tombs or my remains. Through the hunger strike, Madame Cresta died and buried her in Jamaica. So Madame Cresta was here, represent the people from Caribbeans. The second grave, also called Samuel Carson. Samuel Carson too was a slave taking him from here, walking barefooted, both naked with chains and shackles, kept in the door of no return for the same 3 good months, and from there, that man to also peacefully arrived in the United States of America. When Samuel Carson survived there, Samuel Carson was a strong, very intelligent and wise. So the slave masters rejected him from the slavery to join Air Force, training him to become bodyguard, guiding some of the slave masters and idle slaves. And he also did the same role, that in case I died and you these people emancipated from the slavery, make sure you go back with my remains. So at the age of 35 years, Samuel Carson also died and buried him in the United States of America. So Samuel Carson too was here represent the people from British or the US. The last grave, we call the person the unknown slave. We don't even know the identity of the person, but all the same. They brought the remains all the way from Barbados up to here. That was 11th November 2019. So in the year 1804 to 1807, the Great British abolished the slave trade. So the time we emancipated from the slavery because of the real Madame Cresta and Samuel Carson did. They brought the remains of Madame Cresta all the way from Jamaica to arrive Kotoka International Airport. The remains of Samuel Carson all the way from United States of America to arrive the same Kotoka International Airport. Over there, our people remember in the olden prison that the time our fathers moving from here, they pass on ocean. So if they were coming back to their motherland or their destination, we have to mark them on the same ocean. So from the Kotoka International Airport, they brought the remains back to a town called Comante. Over there, the chief also raised up that I will never accept these remains because I don't know where these people brought them from. So before I can accept, let me call my high priest for the community to connect to my ancestors. So when they called the high priest, they gave him a snap. When they gave him to him, he poured libation. After the libation, our ancestors told the high priest that before they can bring the remains of Madame Cresta and Samuel Carson back here, they have to put the remains in a small casket inside a small canoe and ride them on a sea. But before they can ride them, they should make sure that all the fishermen, those using the big boats and then the small ones, should follow with the drumming, meditating, prayers and so on. So they should pass the door called the door of no return. But any moment they pass that door called the door of no return, they should cancel that name to become the door of return. So over there, they put the remains in a small casket inside a small canoe and ride them on the sea through the door of no return at Elmina Castle. So the time they pass that door, they change the name to become the door of return. From Elmina, they continue canoe them again through the door of no return up to Cape Coast Castle and change the name to become the door of return. So from the Cape Coast Castle, they brought the remains back to this community. So both Madame Cresta and Samuel Carson re-entered here 31st July 1998. So the next day, it was 1st August, there was a big debate here or a festival here called Emancipation Day. We use that festival in every year to remember our forefathers, how they struggled for us before we emancipated from the slavery. Because of that, we have a short pillar down there called Memorial Wall of Return, meaning we are no more in slavery again. So wherever you are, you can come back here and trace your ancestral roots. From this path up to the riverside, we call the road ancestral routes. Normally, we don't go there with their shoes and sandals. Why? Because our forefathers came here barefooted, both naked. But as I'm talking to you today, we have a door called the door of return. That's why you can see the chain has been broken. So we cannot make ourselves naked But the barefooted, I think that one, we can do it. This is the pineapple plant or the pineapple tree. It has been here for almost 400 years now. Because of its condition, it can no more bear fruit again. Why? Because it's very, very old. These were also planted by the slave masters or the slave merchants. In case of them moving from here up to wherever they want to be, and they don't want to lose their way or their path, they just planted on their way up to wherever they want to be. So in case of them coming back to Assin Manso here, they just follow the pineapple to appear where they came from. So it is here served them as a landmark or a signpost. On their way to the riverside, we can find a lot in the bush. I finish here. If there's any question you can ask before we continue our tour.